right.
Oh my God.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome. Something brand new and something that we think is going to be absolutely awesome and super exciting. I'd like to welcome everybody to the DLLS Cowboys show.
Yes.
I'm Jeff Cavanaugh. I've been talking about our big, dumb, but wonderful football team for 15 years, give or take. 15. And I'd like to introduce you to all of my friends. The one to my immediate right is at Mr. Fourth and Long, the great Jesse Holly. Anybody you know that played pro sports, he did it a different way, I promise.
I did. And like my brother, Marion Barber, always says, love what you do and do what you love.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
That's a good plan.
To Jesse's right, we have Aisha Morrison. You might know her from Cowboys.com. You might know her from wherever you might know her from. She's our scout. She's our analyst. She's a military veteran. She's a badass. Aisha, say hi to all of the people. Look, they're already here. They're watching us.
Hi. We're happy to have you here.
And over there is the problem. As the great Tay-Tay said, you're the problem. It's you.
OG.
27 years at the paper, covering the Cowboys, dealing with Jerry Jones, and we have an exclusive with Jerry Jones and Clarence Hill to start the show. Chill. Clarence Hill's here. The curse of the Cowboys. 27 years, no Super Bowls.
Why would you say that?
4 playoff wins. It's not my problem. I raised champions. My daughter was a state champion in gymnastics.
Oh, my God.
My other daughter was an NAACP Image Award winner. I raised champions. The problem is bigger than me. It's always been bigger than me. But I'm happy to be here with you guys, okay, to start DLLS. No vowels.
No vowels.
From Mr. Fort Worth
Except
to
the
Mr.
Chicago
DFW,
version.
Mr. Worldwide, DFW, Dallas.
AllDLLS.com. Did I put too many L's? AllDLLS.
Two L's.
I got it right. Yeah. AllDLLS.com.
2 I's.
And if you want to support, like, this is not just this show is Cowboys, but we got them all.
Yeah.
And we got a lineup of studs. Unless you can't say studs about late. I don't know. We got a lineup of really good people that you know from around the Metroplex.
We don't want to
that
disturb
cover your
that
team.
community.
You can say studs.
We don't want
Okay.
to disturb.
You're comfortable being a stud?
I'm a stud.
AllDLLS.com. Today, $12 off to be a diehard. And if you become a diehard, it just means that when you become a diehard, it just means that you love your sports teams, that you love the coverage, that you want discounts on merch and events, a free T-shirt every year, $12 off today only because this is launch day. And there's no way to launch a Cowboy show without mentioning Jerry Jones, and there's no way to launch a Cowboy show, especially with, like, Clarence, you were at the Star-Telegram for 27 years on the Cowboys, which means more than 27 years at the paper.
Yes, I was at the Star-Telegram 29, 30 years, depends on if you carry the one.
Okay.
But I was covering the Cowboys for 27 years and got to know Jerry pretty well, and we've had our incidences, but we've had
That's not a word?
Incidences?
You said
it's a Jerry word.
Okay.
Incidences?
I was going to let him go with
Incidences is not a word?
It might be.
More than one incident? It's called incidences?
I think it's just incidents.
Incidents.
I think you added a CE.
Incidences?
I think it's just an incident.
We're not going to.
More than one.
More instances.
This is
Plural.
There you go.
Yes.
Anyway, my first year on the beat, I did a Jerry Jones day in the life of Jerry Jones. When how we try to do things to say we're hooking you up, but really we're hooking ourselves up.
Yeah.
So, hey, I want to do a day in the life of you, and we kind of see how you do your day. But really, it's my avenue to get to know you and create a relationship with you. So I go in there and spend the whole day with him, writing a story about him. But the bigger picture is, now I see how you do business. I get to look on your desk. I get to create a relationship with you. You know me. I've done this story on you. And that helps build relationships that obviously lays an egg years later. 27 years later, I went back to his office and got a Jerry Jones exclusive for DLLS.
Set the scene for me. And you can go to AllDLLS.com and you'll see the headline, Why Jerry Jones Will Remain the Dallas Cowboys Owner and GM. And it's an exclusive with you and Jerry. And set the scene. Is there brown liquor immediately? Because he said a lot of cuss words.
A lot of curses.
The funny thing is, it was no liquor at all. He was working. I kind of waited, and it was in training camp, my last day of training camp or so. And he's working, and I go in his office. I sit and wait with his security secretary and certainly the PR director. And I go in there and, we sit down. He sits on the couch next to me kind of like this. And we start talking. We were talking about other stuff, talking about Dak and CeeDee and the team and Mike McCarthy. And, and then we start delving into, and then just start unleashing about his role as GM. And
You didn't ask him, hey, Jerry, could
no,
you, the owner,
I
ever
did,
fire the GM?
I did not. That's what's so crazy about it. Because at the end of the interview, he's like, I kind of brought that up, but you didn't bring that up. You know,
he had to get it
That
off
was
his
on his
chest.
heart. That was on his heart. That was on
you
his
know,
heart.
it's like, but we're, obviously he's comfortable talking to me and unleashing, so to speak. But that's kind of how it was, because I was asking him questions about, building a team and the frustrations, the fan frustrations, certainly in which I'm going to have other stories later this week because I didn't put it all out there at one time.
Look at you.
But we talked about certainly about them being the richest franchise, but then how they do their business.
Fans love that. How
We
much
talked
teams
about, their cash spending,
Yeah.
but yet they're cheap, when it comes to players. So,
Yeah.
And then he just started unleashing about, I'm not, I'm the only one that knows. He said that in training camp. No one knows the NFL and the economics better than me. I'm the only one that can run this team. And he used a few F words, some colorful F words. I don't know if we can say this. We F word friendly here.
I think we technically could, but I would say don't, because I want the kids to listen.
But use some F words about, no one can do this job with me. No one can do this job better than me because I've been through it. He talked about certainly when he bought the team, how the Cowboys had no money. And people don't understand this team is worth $10 billion. But they were losing, as they say, $1 million a month, or $1 million a week or something like that, because they were cratering. And the league was cratering, and they did not have money. And he went through all of that with them. He talked about Jean and how they cut up her credit cards. And I've been through it. And you want somebody who's been cutting and shooting, and have been cutting and shooting, you're gonna have your ass handed to you. Anybody that's been cutting and shooting is you're gonna have bad days.
Mm-hmm.
And you need somebody, on this. I was gonna go into the you need me on this wall kind of thing. You need me on, because I've been there, I've seen it all, I've done it all, and nobody can do it better than me because I've done it all, and I'm worth $10 billion now.
So does that mean, since nobody can do it better, like today we'll find out that CeeDee and Dak got contracts? Or
it's a whole nother story.
Okay.
But his take on CeeDee, I mean, obviously I think he never thought, and it's been never a consideration that he won't get CeeDee done. And we'll talk about that later, but the Cowboys have up their offer. And let's be honest, and if you follow this team, they've never not signed a player. Can I say that? They've never not signed a player
I think that's
they
probably-
wanted to keep.
Yeah.
Never not.
Never not.
Never not signed the player they wanted to keep, no matter what. And everybody talks about, what's the running back from Oklahoma? I can't even think of his name right now.
Which one?
DeMarco Murray?
DeMarco Murray. They didn't want to keep DeMarco Murray.
Right.
They did not value DeMarco Murray. They let him go.
Right.
They didn't think he was worth the money. But anybody they thought and valued as worth the money, and I'm talking about big name guys, because certainly the Randy Gregory thing didn't happen. Randy Gregory chose to go to another place because of the clauses they had in the contract, and they stood firm on their clause. And as we see how Randy Gregory's career is unfurled, they were right. But they've never not signed a player they want to keep. So in Jerry's mind, we're going to get the deals done. For us, it's a matter of when, and the process is still as frustrating for fans. But he's never not felt that he was going to get the deals done.
When you spent time with Jerry, and you guys have had several instances and incidences.
Oh my God.
You had a few incidences. Is it the art of negotiation that kind of gets Jerry off?
It's always
is that the thing that
it's always the art
drives
of
him?
deal. And see, you were a player. And I keep.
They didn't value me enough to even have the conversation.
Jesse
with
had
me.
many negotiations.
Self-awareness is
Let me
nice.
tell you right now, if there was any point in time that I thought that I was going to hold out, they would be like, listen, stay right where you're at. Don't worry about coming back. Don't worry about a phone call.
And that's why I gotta keep trying to tell people. It is the art of the deal for Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
And he's done 1 million contracts, football, off the football field, business. That's what he does. It's a game. It's art of the deal. He enjoys it. That's why he can say Zeke who and really be funny. But then he loved Zeke. There was no question he didn't value Zeke. But Zeke who was funny, to him.
Yeah.
When Tony Pollard had the big game. And, look at that big game by Ricky running back. We don't need that guy. Zeke who? It's
don't
personal
find
for
that funny.
Zeke.
Yeah.
It's personal for the players because this is the first time, as Zeke said it so eloquently in training camp, for the first 4 years of your career, they're telling you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And we're on the same team. And then you get to this point and you're on opposite sides. And you're out there by yourself. And so anything that you hear it's personal and you're sensitive about it because you really want to be there because football is the ultimate team sport. And everybody wants their money, but everybody values wanting to be with their team. That training camp, they want that bonding experience. You know that. And so just like when he said the stuff about CeeDee and it's funny thing about it because I had talked to Jerry a few days before he made the incident about it's not urgent for CeeDee. We were walking on the field together and he told me, I don't need CeeDee in camp. I don't want him out there hurt. But don't write that because CeeDee is sensitive. So he said, don't write that. I didn't write that.
Okay,
2 days later, two days later, he says it to everybody.
Yeah.
And then CeeDee gets mad. I'm like, I could have wrote that 2 days ago.
But me out.
But at what point in time, because you're in the locker room, you're around these players, in this new age of players, the level of sensitivity is at an all-time high. For Jerry, he's done a million contracts. Yes. So he separates business from personal and not let those type of things affect him. But we're coming to a point now where he's getting ready to run into some guys that take things very, very personal. And guys like CeeDee and maybe Dak and though maybe Micah. who's coming up in a year. Like, how does he navigate those sensitive waters?
I mean,
you take it personal until you get that contract.
Yeah.
And then they hug.
It was like, well, if the season don't start, they don't get Dak a contract. He's not going to sign. He shouldn't sign. If they offer Dak $60 million in November, he going to take that $60 million. The idea that I'm so mad that I'm not going to sign and be where I want to be. Zeke still loves the Cowboys. He was mad until he got that contract. Yeah. And I think so ultimately they want to be where they are. And so, yes, during the process, it's frustrating. I don't think that the players, I know some are sensitive and all the other stuff, but ultimately, they're like kids. When you get what you want, you're okay. And we mad until that gift comes under the Christmas tree, and then everybody's happy. When Christmas comes, it comes, baby. Christmas gonna come for CeeDee, and he's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Aisha, where were you going?
Well, I wanted to comment on the fact that, Jesse mentioned that some of these other guys, these younger guys coming in are more sensitive. I would argue that some of these guys are just a little bit more aware of the things that are going on. And then we've talked about it offline, the NIL and all that stuff that's coming up. That philosophy that Jerry has, I don't know how long that's going to be okay to some of these younger guys coming in that are making millions in college, that already have financial advisors and are aware of their finances and stuff. I'm not a huge fan of how it's been going on, but I get what y'all are saying. And in regard to CeeDee not being here, yeah, we don't want him injured and everything, but this is not what your offense is going to look like. I mean, that the offense runs through CeeDee, so it's been great, seeing these other guys have experience and play, but at the same time, it's like, I think it's detrimental because it takes time for an offense to get in a rhythm anyway.
Sure.
You factor in that the number one receiver, the number one option isn't there. How long is it going to take for them to get off the ground? It took them 5 weeks last year. And guess what? That Cardinals game cost you.
And CeeDee had to get sensitive to get it on track.
Listen, he had to have a tantrum. So for me, I'm like, I get it, but I'm still not a fan.
The process, I agree with you. In the process, and we're talking about two of them. We're talking about philosophy,
absolutely,
the art of the deal, and all the other stuff. Yes, they need to get the deal done. Everybody understands they need to get the deal done. Mike McCarthy understands that because right now you're running into the time is running out for CeeDee to be ready for the season opener, and you're already at that time where you're risking injury. Soft tissue injuries, and about that. CeeDee doing great training.
Right.
And all that training and all that stuff on IG is great.
On Facebook too.
Facebook, yeah definitely Facebook.
You don't get a football shirt to your football.
Twitter, all that stuff. But it's not the same as running routes.
Absolutely.
In a game, getting twisted and turned and different things like that. And you're chancing those soft tissue injuries. And certainly at this point, I don't know if he can be 100% for the season opener.
And for coaches as well, because I still look at Mike McCarthy as that old school vein. Like those coaches, they're most comfortable when they've seen a play be run, right? You have plays that you're like, this is a CeeDee Lamb play. But I don't feel comfortable till I actually see CeeDee Lamb run it. You know what I mean? Like every offense has those handful of plays where those guys are running the show, and he's not here to do so.
So this is our new show. This is our Cowboys show for all DLLS. And we want you to sign up. We want you to subscribe. We want you to hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. We want you to do all those different things. We want you to sign up to be a diehard. And if you go, that'll get you exclusive content. You get a T-shirt every year. You get discounts on merch and events. You get access to so many stories on all of your favorite sports teams. Clarence's, because it's day one, you get lots of Jerry F-bombs.
Wow.
At ALLDLLS.com. And you'll see the article, Clarence Exclusive with Jerry Jones. And
you get to be with us.
Well, you get us.
Like, come on,
you get us.
And,
you get us.
And we also did. I also had a story about CeeDee and the contract negotiations. They are getting closer. The Cowboys are over $33 million, and they've kind of.
In other words, Jerry's following his schedule exactly how he knew he was going to do it the whole time.
They're reconciling the 4 years, and so because Cowboys always wanted 5 years,
right.
and I think they're going to do the 4 years. So they're not there yet, but they're moving closer, and then they're getting confident that a deal can get done. But they're over $33 million, obviously. And CeeDee does not want, and he doesn't need to top Justin Jefferson. He just wants to get in that neighborhood. And there are a few
Just
blocks.
wants to live on the same street.
They're a few blocks closer.
Yeah.
A few houses closer.
Well, coming up next on our broadcast, our pets' heads are falling off. The Cowboys' best position group took a big hit, and what in the world are we going to do about that? Plus, why it's probably going to be just fine, and you'll meet the fifth member of our broadcast crew. But before we do it, I want to talk to you about my friends at Sleeper, which to me has always been the app that I use to run my fantasy football leagues. And that may be how you know them, but now you can put your knowledge to the test with them in any game by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less than their projected stats each week. Now, you will need our code, DLLS BOYS, DLLS Boys, because what you want to do is you want to sign up on Sleeper. You could go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Zeke's under every week. I'm going to be like, no, he's not going to meet those rushing yards.
He's hating early, y'all.
Well, for example.
You can't live this
for
way.
example, you could do something like that. And with Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. So if you think you got what it takes, download that Sleeper app, use the code DLLS Boys, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. And now look over here. Look at sweet Joe Hoyt. We have two Cowboy beat writers that are a part of this show.
Yes.
And Joe Hoyt's going to slide right in to tell you about something.
Yeah, and shout out to Clarence for keeping the seat warm, but I'm here now. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Game Time. This is something that I use often. I've been using it for a long time, and I just used it last week, for example. And it's one of those things where if you need last-minute plans or, hey, do you want to go to a Cowboys game, but you're not sure about the price? Well, you can kind of follow the pricing. They make it easier for you over at Game Time, where you can kind of see, say, hey, I want to sit in this section. I want to pay this much money. Oh, shoot, here's 1% off on an all-in pricing. That's one of my favorite features with Game Time. Check out the app today. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code DLLS for 20% off on your first purchase. That's DLLS. It's great. You get great deals. You'll obviously get some money off in the beginning, and you get to go see some cool stuff like the Cowboys.
Do it. Yeah. Game Time. What's up now? All right, we are on. It is topic number 2 on the DLLS Cowboys show. Make sure that if you're watching on YouTube right now, that you're hitting the like button and you're subscribing. Thank you to those of you who are chatting and super chatting. Try to round up your super chats at the end of the show. Shout out to you guys. So we did have some bad news in Cowboy Land.
Right before the game, too.
Sweet.
I know y'all just doing y'all job, but dang.
But
The game was about to come on. I was in a good mood, and it was like, Deron Bland.
We are the bearers of bad news.
I stole your thunder.
Deron Bland, 6 to 8 weeks. Maybe as of a week ago, though, or not quite a week ago, but soon maybe now it's 5 to 7 weeks.
4.
It'll be okay. So the question I think immediately becomes, like, you lost an all-pro corner, and your other all-pro corner is coming off of an ACL surgery. And honestly, we live in a football world where I haven't gone team by team, but it's a trouble spot if somebody gets hurt, I think, for most teams. And for the Cowboys, I think it couldn't be worse. Like, I think if I were to rank the players that I'm like, please no, please no, please no, it's Dak, CeeDee, Micah, and Deron Bland might be number 4.
That's fair.
Like, I think we could debate different offensive linemen, but the fact that I've got to decide which one means maybe I should just go with Deron Bland.
Yeah.
The healthy all-pro corner that's going to be a part of your secondary. And so the question kind of becomes, what are they going to do about it? Do they need to do anything about it? Jerry Jones claims they're going to do nothing about it and that they're good to go. And I just welcome in. First of all, Joe Hoyt hasn't even said hello and welcome. But just say hi to everybody and give him your best little wink. And then you can talk to me about DaRon Bland.
Throw up.
Yeah, well, hey, everyone. I'm Joe Hoyt. Been covering the Cowboys for a year. Between us, me and Clarence have 28 years in the beat. So that is...
How many is
I
you?
could be the Kwame Brown to his Kobe Bryant.
Okay.
I get that 1 point. But, hey, I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited. And, the ALLCITY mantra is we're going to make it more fun for a fan. Dude, I'm about to have some fun, too.
Yeah.
So.
Did you think it was fun that DaRon Bland got hurt? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
that was not
your
fun.
segue? You thought that was hilarious?
That was your segue?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You segued my segue with... Anyways, no, but the DaRon Bland news was obviously a blow for the Cowboys. 6 to 8 weeks. Something they discovered on the last day of camp, too. Hey, a little soreness. Let's check it out. Oh, that's going to be a stress fracture that needs surgery.
Sweet.
So that's obviously a big blow. You do the math. Probably 4 to 5 games is something you're kind of thinking, but stress fractures could kind of be a little bit,
Feet are scary.
Yeah,
Yes.
very scary.
Feet are scary.
For most people. The Cowboys in terms of looking outside.
Micah loves feet.
I love. Never mind.
Yeah, looking outside.
Y'all are
Outside. No,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
just
gonna look
saying.
away. We're gonna look away from this
Just
topic.
saying this. Don't put out certain things that.
Foot injuries are scary.
But feet.
Are fine.
Yes.
Joe?
So externally,
Like and
Jerry
subscribe.
Jones says they have no plans of looking externally. And the options, you got Patrick Peterson out there, Adoree Jackson's out there. You got a couple other guys that have kind of been, Akella Witherspoon been hanging around. So there is options in case they need depth. But apparently Jerry thinks that they're good to go there. This Kalen Carson time, you kind of wonder who's going to be that extra corner. Is Keeman Hall, who's literally not even on the roster on the website, is he going to make the roster?
I'm screaming. Yeah,
He literally isn't. On the Dallas Cowboys.
Right, on the website.
So, is he going to go from not being on the roster to literally on the roster? Something to watch. Maybe Andrew Booth. We'll see what happens there. But, the thing about the depth with this corner position, they had a chance. If you kind of look at it, obviously money is a factor. But Stephon Gilmore was out there for a long time.
He
That
got
hurt.
way more money than I thought he would.
You got 10.
He did
got
get
10 just sitting around.
If you got 10,
because he played well last year. Besides the fact that he got injured at
Yeah,
the
I'm sure
end
you're
of the
30s.
season.
You go from fast to slow immediately.
But he
That's
wasn't.
the rules.
He wasn't slow. That's the rules. That's
the
just how it
rules.
works.
You
But
go
I
from
mean,
fast to slow real quick at corner.
well, to
and 34 years old, 10 million, 34. That's it's a lot of bread for a 34
you think
year old.
so?
And was banged
Yeah.
up at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Ain't it? Oh, that's fair. But I guess it was something that wasn't expected to be a long. I thought it was going to be like a longer healing process for him, but it sounds
Yeah.
like he's good to go at this point. So,
And Minnesota was desperate, too. They needed.
that's
Right.
another way to put it. Also, too, you just mentioned it. Cornerback, it's kind of a luxury to have ones that are good and can tackle and such and such. But
O-line and corner
What-
teams, they just don't have enough.
yeah, with the Keeman Hall situation, he's interesting because
Is he a pet
when
cat?
did you notice him? He's not my pet cat. I just noticed him. He is a cat that I ain't fed in like 3 days or something. I just started realizing that he was. I am like this last couple games. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, who's this dude? Who's this fiery guy? He drives on the ball. He tackles in space. And the thing about him is that he plays the nickel. And in this league, with how offenses are doing things, the nickel position, I think nickel corner is a little bit more valuable at this point because of what Sean McVay did to offenses at this point. So I'm like, well, is he going to maybe make the team? Possibly. We've seen Israel Mukwamu. He's been playing in the nickel. I wonder if they are comfortable moving him to boundary. That's where he was. Dan Quinn came in and said, hey, dude, you're a safety. I saw a guy that's a corner when I watched him in college. So we're seeing that he's on the depth chart as a corner. I wonder what they decide to do there. Maybe they really do feel like they have enough there, but I don't know. I think Kalen Carson's going to ball. He's a confident, fiery player, but it is a lot to ask of this group. So where do you find help at this point?
Jerry wasn't the only one to use a lot of F-bombs. I was at the game on Saturday and
Wait.
No, he's not the
Zimmer?
only one. No. I got a chance to see Will McClay on the sideline of the game on
Oh,
Saturday.
wow.
So you don't cuss.
No, I don't cuss.
Yeah.
But Will McClay cusses.
You don't cuss?
I don't cuss.
Interesting.
Why?
I wouldn't have
It's
gathered
because you
that.
cuss like a sailor. Doesn't mean I
I'm
have to cuss like
precious.
a
She
sailor.
served. She has to
Yeah.
cuss.
No. This is
I
because you-
have
listen.
catchphrases.
There are people. Thank you, servicemen and women of our nation,
She
of
says
all
tater
branches.
tots.
I say muffins and barnacles.
tater tots.
I don't.
Well, Will McClay doesn't say muffins and or tater tots, and Clarence cusses for all of us. He cussed enough for everybody.
He's
Clarence
cussing
Hill is
right
offset,
now.
just pointing at himself. saying,
Cussing.
I'm cussing.
I cuss.
I saw Will McClay on the sideline, and the first thing I said to him, we gave a bro hug, and I said, Deron Bland, and he used a couple expletives, but he said, that's the way football goes. And so for him, he's like, I'm right back into doing what I'm doing. But I go back to the conversation that I had with Al Harris at training camp, and he gushed over Carson. He simply said, I got another one.
Yeah.
I got another one. So they feel, and I don't know how much Jerry is word playing us again with the we're not going outside to look for more help, because depth is an issue. You're one injury away from now really being in serious problems. But they love what they have in Carson.
They should.
And Al Harris loves him, his versatility. You talked about Mukwamu. They love his versatility. They love the fact that he can play safety, he can play corner, he can play in the nickel, he plays special teams. So having a player like that, I do think that initially they're going to try to stay in-house, but keep their finger on the post and keep their eyes and ears to the streets of what's available. But I do think they like what they have in-house.
Well, because, I mean, even with the stress fracture, Joe kind of mentioned it. You got to plan on that foot, big dog. I mean, you got a guy that drives on the ball, takes the ball away at a high clip. He jumps a lot of routes. I mean, that's how Deron Bland plays ball. Like, he plays ball very aggressively.
That's why feet are scary.
And so, you know, even though the timeline exists, is he going to be ready? But also, too, you know, what throws a wrench in it is Trayvon Diggs. Because I think if we knew that Diggs was ready to go,
Right.
we would be a lot more comfortable, yeah? But do you think they're going to slow play him, or you think they're going to put him out there?
Oh, he's going.
He
has to.
Well, I mean, he's a DMV
looked
kid.
ready.
He about that action, right? So I know he's going to be ready to go.
has to.
But so that's comforting, I guess, a little bit that he'll be ready.
Yeah.
But in regard to Kalen Carson, I couldn't believe he went as late as he did. I mean, most of us had a 3 on him in the draft. So they kind of got a steal. When you look at the traits, there's a lot of similarities, to your point, Jesse, in Deron Bland and how Kalen Carson played football. So I think he'll be all right.
In other words, they're not 6'1" with 33-inch long arms, and they're just good football players.
And
so NFL teams are like
non-fluid hips.
And then you just show up and you're like, hey, by the way, I do this, and I have for a while. And he played damn near 40 college games.
Right.
Like he
and
played
also,
4 years.
Yeah, and he entered as a guy who was the 1,700th best recruit in the country. Like, this wasn't a high-profile recruit expected to step in as a freshman and play like he did, and he did. So, I mean, now you go from college to the NFL, same thing. He's got to step up right away.
Yeah, but those traits translate. When you play that much football, and it's the route recognition, it's the being able to read things, it's understanding, mirroring the routes, understanding how to sell what you want to do, and it's all that, and then picking up the defense, right? When you come in and Zim has this new style that you want to come in, that's a plus for him because he didn't have to reset his brain of what he learned from Dan Quinn. He was learning quicker than the guys who had been in the league for a while because they had already been in Dan Quinn's system for 3 years. So now he comes in and it's like, oh, it's new to y'all, it's new to me too. So we're all learning on the same page. And for him, it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big Kalen Carson fan. But now just know what you're talking about. We're looking at Trayvon Diggs with half an eye closed. Like, is he going to be ready? And then Kalen Carson's like, no, I really like that rookie. But I'm not going to pretend. But Jerry said, based on our history with the young corners who have to go play, he'll probably just go be an all-pro.
Yeah, no
Facts.
I mean, if we're tracking it right.
Yeah, and he has a short-term memory, too. That's one thing I liked about him
Jerry?
even in college.
Yes.
You're going to jail.
No, I just no.
You're trying to get us taken out.
At 90, what is he? I mean, the memory.
Is he 90?
81.
We're close. Once you get to 80,
Oh, my God. You're
we'll just
rounding
start
up that far?
100%, and the memory goes around that time.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, we're moving on. So the other thing that Jerry Jones is super dug in on, what are we doing with Trey Lance? I know what we should be doing. We'll do that next on the DLLS Cowboys show. And before we do, I want to talk to you about my friends at Rugged Road. Their website is ruggedroadoutdoors.com. And the code DLLS will get you 10% off. And what they got at Rugged Road? Sweet coolers.
Yeah.
If I have people come over and they bring their real cool cooler and I've just got my little piece of, what I'm saying? You get cooler envy. And if you swing by ruggedroadoutdoors.com, use the code DLLS, you will not have to have cooler envy. Their stuff, super durable. It's great for outdoor adventures. It can go wherever you're going to go. One of the most unique features is their ability to always float and stay upright.
There you go.
You know what that means?
What
You're
does that
floating
mean?
the river.
Yeah. If you're dumb enough to jump in the river,
no, it's not dumb enough, Jesse.
Rugged Road
it's an
has
actual thing you can do.
No, I
you
mean,
go down to like New Braunfels, you get in the river, you
Right.
float down the river for hours, and you take your Rugged Road with you, and you just
sail.
It just floats next to you in its own little floaty, and you just get in there and get what you need.
Pass out drinks.
Yeah, and that's what you do. RuggedRoadOutdoors.com. The code DLLS is going to get you 10% off. It's crafted to handle the toughest environments, coolers that are built to last, ensuring they can keep up with the adventure. Gear up for that next adventure with a Rugged Road cooler. Reliable, durable, built to be used. It's the ultimate outdoor companion. Head to Rugged Road. What? What? Time for you guys to learn something about me. When I mess up, normally what I do is I make an animal sound.
Don't do that.
What was that animal?
I'm going to laugh.
RuggedRoadOutdoors.com. Use the code DLLS for 10% off. Also today, if you like discounts, we want you to become a diehard. Welcome to ALLDLLS.com. It's not just Cowboys. We're obviously the first show on. We are Cowboys. But you will have your Maverick show. You will have your Star show. You will have your Rangers show with names that you know that have covered this team for a long time. And if you become a diehard, you get a free shirt. That's at alldlls.com. And today only it's $12 off to become a diehard. And when you do that, you get the free T-shirt.
Yeah.
You get discounts on merch.
Come on.
You get. Oh, I'm coming home.
Yeah.
You get 20% off events. You get into the diehards only Discord lounge.
Get 'em.
You get all the. You get ad-free experience.
Yeah.
Get them.
All the things.
Yeah.
Cook.
All the things.
Yeah.
Just go to alldlls.com and become a diehard, okay? Welcome back, everybody. We've had another staff change. Jeff Cavanaugh alongside my friend Jesse Holley, Clarence Hill, Joe Hoyt. And our topic of conversation currently is going to be that other thing that Jerry Jones seems dug in on.
Can I add one thing right quick?
What?
I went on the last segment, but I got things to say.
Okay, yeah.
Speak into your mic. Be a professional.
Yeah, you're the
Just
man.
because Jerry says it, don't make it so.
They might go sign a guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Clarence
just
told me that when we were at the rudder room. He was like, the only thing you need to remember, I'm going to impersonate how you sounded at the time. The only thing you need to remember about what Jerry said is the
I was
one
not
time
drunk.
he said,
Don't do that.
well, just because I say it, don't make it so.
Don't do that.
I think he showed us that this offseason, right? Like the all-in.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went all-in.
Yeah.
and-
Who asked him that question?
Was
Me.
that you?
Yeah.
And Jerry got mad at Clarence.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
made him say those words.
Yeah.
Yes. But just because it doesn't make it so, they still could go after a guy. So they're going to say all the right things at that moment. But we all know,
Yeah.
it's like Zach Martin. We're going to stand firm. He's already been paid.
That's right.
3 weeks later, they pay him. So
That's right.
everything is still on the table. You have to wait for final cuts and see who's out there. So they still could bring in the corner. But yes, it's unlikely it'll be a great corner at this point.
Okay, well, Trey Lance had quite a weekend. And Jerry has been adamant about, look, I mean, you traded for him, right? You traded a 4th-round pick for a guy who, and I don't even know, I want to know, Clarence, I wonder, was a part of that trade Jerry literally trading a 4th-round pick to be like, hey, Dak, I'll do it. And Dak's like, whatever, dude. But like, because their contracts end at the same time. It's like, what was the plan when you made the trade? I don't know. And now that you're seeing him in preseason and we saw him in camp, the Trey Lance experience is going to be that he's the 3rd-string quarterback.
Well, I mean, as we talked about earlier about the art of the deal, Jerry likes to win. He likes to be the smartest guy in the room. He was throwing something against the wall, hoping it stuck. They fell into Tony Romo.
But what was
They fell into Dak Prescott at 4th round.
What would stick have been?
I
Did
don't
they saw him
know.
in practice?
You
They're like,
don't
he's
know-
great, and they
you
get rid
don't-
of Dak?
You don't know what the situation is going to be. Dak is still unsigned, but a backup quarterback, something, but you don't think he would love to say, I made a guy that San Francisco couldn't become a player? I mean, but he was throwing something against the wall. It's a 4th-round pick. I mean, I know we value 4th-round picks, and I know but who was the guy they drafted before Dak? Exactly.
Hold on.
Charles
No, we can get
Tapper
there.
did not make the team. Defensive end of Oklahoma. They
made the team
value
for a
Dak's.
while.
No, he did not.
He was around.
No,
He played
was-
for the
no,
Cowboys.
No, you better look it up.
I'm going to look it up.
But the bottom,
Chat gonna look it up. Chat, look it up.
I'll look it up.
Chat's gonna definitely
Charles
look it
Tapper
up.
but the
played
bottom line is they value Dak as the 4th-round pick so much, their future franchise quarterback, that they prioritize Charles Tapper ahead of him.
Yeah.
Okay, can you miss out on a Charles Tapper for Trey Lance? Yes.
Played 2 games in 2017.
Yeah.
Had a sack.
I get it, right?
Boomer
Like,
Sooner.
when you think
And I love
about,
Charles Tapper. He's my guy.
doesn't sound like love.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's keep it real.
No,
man.
I got you. But no, here's the thing. It's when you talk about Jerry in the 4th round pick, I get it, because you got a guy, right? They took Fajoku, who they're probably about to cut. Right?
Yes.
They're probably not going to make
and your defense coordinator, that defense coordinator told everybody on draft day Fehoko was going to be a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem.
Dan Quinn loved Fehoko.
Letting coaches pick is silly.
Love Fehoko.
He loved Nashawn Wright. He loved Eric Scott. He loved Junior Fehoko.
Yeah.
Rob Marinelli loved Tristan Hill. Blah 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 blah
Yeah,
blah.
but
blah,
love
blah. Let the
Fehoko.
scouts scout.
Yeah.
But
the thing is I get it, right? Like there are far more 4th round picks that you look at and you go, oh, he's gone. And there was upside to what Trey Lance was. The problem is, it's when you begin to see him is when the upside begins to dwindle a little bit. Like even watching the game on Saturday, there were some throws you were like, that's an NFL starting throw. Right? That's an NFL caliber starting throw.
The problem is, with all due respect, is Trey Lance
disrespect. Here comes disrespect.
No disrespect.
Anytime someone leads with no disrespect, with all due respect,
everything after
after that comes.
What he means.
It's an inevitable premise.
The problem is, with all due respect to your point of view, is Trey Lance was drafted in the 1st round.
Yes.
And so the public, the fans, see a 1st round pick.
Right.
If Trey Lance was drafted in the 4th round, all this stuff we're talking about, the specter of Trey Lance is a former 1st round pick.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
If Dak were a top 5 pick, people would talk different about him too.
And so when he comes here and you got Dak, well, they have a chance to take on the 4th. So, my sister, people from the barbershop, they know Trey Lance's name because he's a former 1st round pick.
Right.
And so everybody's talking about Trey Lance as a former 1st round pick coming here. That's the only reason people even consider him. Jerry never said it. Mike never said it. But fans, media are saying, well, he could be an option for Dak. Why? Because the former 1st round pick. Not because of what he's done.
Right.
Going back to college, he's never done anything.
Yeah, he played 6 games in college.
You know, he played 11,
season,
but he had left 400 snaps as a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, he started 4 games in San Francisco. He's been hurt. He has not seen. That's what Mike McCarthy kept saying. He just needs to play. He needs snaps. Mike McCarthy's told us from the beginning, he needs snaps. He needs to play. He hasn't played. He hasn't seen it all. It was never a competition for the backup job in training camp. From day one.
It might have been if he was awesome.
He was not.
He could have made it a competition.
He couldn't have been awesome. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't done it. There's no way. There's nothing he could have done in 3 preseason games against backups, against vanilla defenses to tell me if Dak gets hurt, I'm putting him on the field instead of Cooper Rush, who's won games in the real league.
Well, I'll put
in real games. 5-1.
Yeah, say with all due respect, though.
Yeah.
With 100% disrespect.
Nothing he could have done.
Yes, he could have. He could have easily gone out there.
What if he didn't throw 5 picks?
He could have easily went out there and made that 5 touchdowns. He could have easily went out there and done this, and had great games. He could have passed the ball 90%.
Based on what, though? He's never done that. He never had 5 touchdowns a game in college. Yeah. Probably the whole career. He's never done that.
I didn't have a catch in the NFL until I had one. That's what I'm saying. Like, no one never does it until
But they were not trying to make you the starter.
Maybe.
Cooper, with all due respect, they was never trying to make you the starter.
Back up.
I'm just saying, with all due respect.
They were trying to have 53. That's to the next segment. Do not miss the next
he's
segment.
on the Jerry already says he's on the 53. I'm just saying, though.
But there is, when you say that there's nothing he could have done, he could have went out there against a vanilla defense.
He could have played well
against 3rd and 4th stringers. And
how much money would you? How much money you to bet he was going to do that? Because nobody was betting he was going to do that.
No,
I wasn't betting he was going to throw 5 picks.
I wasn't betting he was going to play well either because he hasn't played.
I was betting.
The thing is, he just hasn't. He hasn't seen it. He has his moments. He has his flash. You see the arm. You see the athleticism. He's not Lamar Jackson, but you see the athleticism. There's some things that you like about him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he doesn't. At the end of the day, though, the fundamentals, you're seeing defensive.
Sorry.
At the end of the day, that's going in. Okay.
Shut out the glow.
But he just hasn't. It's just not there yet, and that's why I would love if he could play in the UFL. If Mike McCarthy says it again. If we could play 3 more preseason games, there's nothing he could. I'm sorry. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, there's nothing he could have done that would have made me, as a coach, GM, if Dak gets hurt, I'm not putting him on the field in a real game ahead of a guy who is 5-1, who's done it on the biggest stage. It's all a guessing game.
Then what's he doing here?
Yeah,
It was all a guessing game. Even if he does great in the preseason, it's not the regular season, and Cooper Rush has done it in the regular season. And the fact that it wasn't a competition because they didn't even let Cooper Rush play in the preseason tells me in their mind it was already made up. That's my point. Their mind, whether you say he could have done it, my point is in their mind it was already made up because they did not let Cooper compete.
But here's the
Because there
problem.
was nothing Cooper needed to compete for.
Here's the problem at the very beginning of this whole Trey Lance conversation, though. You give a fourth-round pick for a guy who needs time, that needs development. He was never going to get it here because you have Dak Prescott. You have a guy who's going to be a free agent after next season. You have a guy that has played more against Minnesota high school football players than he has against NFL players in the last 8 years. He was never going to get that time. This preseason, he had more passing attempts than he did his entire career in San Francisco. So it makes you wonder, what did we learn about Trey Lance?
We learned why San Francisco gave him away.
Yeah.
That's what we learned.
Exactly.
Well, they
learned
gave him
why
away
they was
because they found a quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
part of it, too. You got to understand.
They weren't willing to. They weren't
They
willing to
found
invest the development.
Mr. Relevant was better than Mr. First Round pick. That's why they gave him away.
They had Jimmy Garoppolo ready to go.
I wasn't, and I'm still not a fan of Trey Lance. I wasn't standing on the table for Trey Lance. I'm not saying that Trey Lance.
And he's a great kid, great person.
And that's what
love him as
cool.
a person.
That's all great. And
With
well.
all due respect.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
But the thing is when there was something he could have done. He just didn't do it. There was something that he could have done.
Theoretically, yes.
Theoretically.
football.
He could have played a good brand of football and maybe made people scratch their head. I think part of the reason, when you take Mike McCarthy as your head coach and the quarterback guru, you think, man, a guy with high upside, I got this quarterback guru guy who's supposed to be able to take quarterback school and all that kind of stuff. Whatever.
Except I didn't even call Mike McCarthy to make the trade. I mean, I just did without him.
Right.
It wasn't Mike McCarthy's idea.
Right, but as a guy, you say if I give him a guy with raw tools, maybe he can get into the lab and sharpen them. And now it didn't work
But
out.
it may be sharpened. It's sharpened. It's probably more sharp than it was last year. That's the point.
That's a terrible knife.
That's the point. It is sharper.
Jason
It was
Moore,
sharper. It was sharper against the Raiders than it was against the Rams. It is sharper. And there were some good things he did against the Chargers that was sharper.
He made a throw.
He had Matt McCarthy talked about it. He did have some long drives, some 14 play drives. But it's just
then
not
threw
enough
picks
there. He needs more time.
agree with
He
you.
needs
There's
more
not time.
cooking in the oven.
I
And then
agree
you don't have it. Which again is my point, is that nothing he could have there's nothing he could have done to say that gets hurt. I'm putting him in the game over a guy who's done it.
Hey, if Jerry really
He's
likes that he was a first-round pick, boy, Trey Lance's next
Mike
contract
McCarthy's
is going to be
job
so
was on the
affordable.
line.
It's going to be so affordable.
No. So we understand Jerry wants to be socks and jocks. Jerry's never made Mike or his coaches play a player over
I agree
another
with that. I
guy
think
that
it's
can
fun
win.
for the
I mean,
fans to
people like to talk about that.
Yeah.
But Mike McCarthy thought
It's his
this
job.
was the best. It's his job. This is the best job to guy to win the game. Jerry's not making him pay Trey Lance over.
No, the one place that Trey Lance does need to be is just not here. Like where Trey Lance needs to be is the Raiders.
In the UFL.
Anybody the UFL.
Yeah.
But like an NFL
Really,
team,
the UFL,
an NFL team that does
NFL
not.
Europe.
Well, no, like an NFL team.
That's not a place anymore.
I know it's not,
Yeah,
but my point is that's
Arlington
really what he has.
Renegades.
He needs to play the
Yes.
room and play. And he could develop into a potential backup quarterback for the future. I mean, we talked about the camp. Cooper Rush has had way more snaps in college, and you just go back to his snaps in college.
Yeah.
And what he's done, he's seen it. Trey has not seen everything.
I'm not fighting you. I'm with you.
No, I just think that even if you wanted to give him a shot because he was a top 3 pick, and you're like, no, there's something in there we need to see. The team that needs to see that is a team that's going to go 4-13, and they don't care what happens because it's just, hey, why you believe is because people believed once upon a time in the athlete in the arm, and you say, how old is he? He's still younger. Like Bo Nix hasn't played NFL football yet. Trey Lance is younger.
That's a media narrative. I don't think anybody in this season who thinks I'm gonna go 4-13 this year, so I'm throwing against the wall and just whatever. No team feels that way though. In this worst
teams that know they're going to suck.
Yeah, but teams drafting high
in this worst of
A year from now when Dak
in
leaves,
this
this
worst
team will
of
suck.
first league,
Don't do that.
If he left.
In this worst of first league, no team really goes there. I'm gonna suck this year, so I'm just gonna throw something. I mean, they don't really go into the season thinking like
the Patriots are going to suck this year. I promise.
We believe that.
I promise.
But they are hoping against hope.
No, I just
they're
think if
gonna
your
hope
team
against
has failed in the Jerry route.
That's why the Patriots. If the Patriots really felt that way, then start Drake May.
Right.
But they don't feel that way because it's unfair to the other guys, and so they're really talking about starting Jacoby Brissett. I'm just saying, though.
Well, you wouldn't say it out loud. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is Trey Lance goes to a team that doesn't have a young quarterback they believe in and doesn't have a franchise quarterback.
The Patriots have a young quarterback they believe in. They won't start him, or at least they have not said they're going to start him yet. This is my point. They're still starting Jacoby. These NFL teams, they don't have that mindset. That's a fan media mindset.
Segment 4 is upcoming on the DLLS Cowboys show. It's cut day tomorrow. They're going to cut about 1,200 players in the NFL. And you have to hear the story of when it came for Jesse Holley. It's an incredible story, but before we do that, I want to encourage you all to, first of all, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on YouTube.com if you're listening to this later. On YouTube.com/ you got to put the @ in. YouTube.com/ @DLLS_sports. Subscribe, like, and we want you to become a diehard, especially today. It's our launch day. It's day number 1. And when you do become a diehard, you go to alldlls.com.
Yeah. Come on. What you get?
And you join to be a diehard. And what you get is a free shirt of your choice.
T-shirt.
You get
good
t-shirt.
quality.
You get free it is good. It is
good quality.
I just want to say the merch is bomb.
Yes.
The merch
good quality.
So good. It's good merch.
It's really good merch.
It's good merch. So you get the free T-shirt. You get access to our premium diehard level content.
Oh, who writes that? You write that?
Clarence Hill writes some of that.
All right. Cool.
20% off all merch. 20% off all events.
Come on, save a little bit.
Little diehard member card. Put that in your wallet.
Put that in your wallet.
And diehard's only Discord lounge, where you can hang out with us, chat, stuff like that. It's wonderful. So
and then we have events. We'll eventually have events.
Oh, we're going to have events.
And you don't want to miss those events.
And you want 20% off of those. I mean, that'd pay for the diehard membership right there. And it's $12 off.
And you can
only
come
today.
argue with all of us.
Yeah.
No, I'm not arguing.
Aisha won't argue, but the rest of us. The rest
if you
of us,
say something wrong about tape, she's on your back.
That's fair.
Yeah. Aisha will correct the hell out of you. If you say somebody did something and they didn't do that, she'd be like, with all due respect, you're an idiot. So, okay. We do have the day of the Cowboys cutting down to 53 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And there are, I think, ways we can talk about that outside of the Jesse story, but I do think that the Jesse story is too good not to have it be part of it. So I want to lead with the day that Jason Garrett told Jesse Holley to go home.
I'm scared.
And then we could talk about maybe some of the guys at the preseason game that might have fought their way onto the team. If you got any pet cats, meow, that you're cheering for, stuff like that. But Jesse Holley, Mr. Fourth and Long, take it away.
Let me say this. At some point in time, with all due respect, we got to dig into the archives and pull up some of the old articles that Clarence, excuse me.
Jerry called him Terrence sometimes.
That Clarence wrote when I was coming off 4th and Long.
Yeah.
Boy.
I bet it said that this joke ain't making the football team.
You talk about all due disrespect.
Oh, wow.
It was some stuff.
Well, Jesse, you weren't supposed to make the team. Like, you were supposed to be an invite because
he wasn't even supposed to win 4th and Long.
I wasn't?
Were you?
I mean, he wasn't his mind.
I know. I'm just.
I'm about to say the hell with the rest of this show. Let's just go back. Let's just go outside and fight now. Let's just go outside and scrub around.
Now, the great thing about 4th, who was the other guy that did really well?
Andrew Hawkins.
Andrew Hawkins.
Yes.
That was a tough decision at the end of that.
Yeah, no, it was. And Andrew had a great career with the Bengals.
Right.
And Browns.
He had a great career in
the
league.
He's on TV now, but
yeah, he's doing his thing.
There were some articles that you wrote about me back
I did not read no bad articles about you.
I'm on it.
I remember.
Man.
I remember. Katya, can we find anything?
I remember in San Francisco.
No, I was talking about leading up to that. You were like, what is this Jerry Jones joke? And I was like, damn.
Well, first of all, let's be honest. Can we talk?
Yeah. We family.
The idea.
You guys are lucky we launched a network today that has both your names in it, so it's going to be
the
hard
idea that the Cowboys would have a reality show to pick a player is just so Cowboys.
Most.
What was more realistic? Me making the team or Trey Lance becoming a starter?
Y'all better stop that.
Which one?
No, you were supposed to be cut number 1. Like, it was cute.
No, I mean,
you won a reality show.
So it was a reality show. No one gave you a chance to make the team.
No, you got to go to King.
That was awesome. But no one who knew.
No,
I mean,
it was,
you come from a reality show, and certainly we know you played and you had the basketball background, but that's just not the avenue to make a football team.
No, and in fact, I'm the only one in NFL history to ever make a football team off a reality TV show. All right, so let me get to this story.
So this was not pros and Joes, though. I mean, this was
this was
life
legit.
Pros. You're not a Joe.
Nah.
You Jesse.
I'm a Jesse with no I.
With
No eye.
There you go.
Oh my.
And you're Clarence with no T.
No T.
All right, so yes, we get to cut down day, and this is a very trying time for folks. You got to understand, like, there are people who walk into the building today and tomorrow, and they walk in crotch first, right? Dak's walking in crotch first.
Yeah.
He's going right to his locker. As people are weaving in and out of the locker, no worries.
Yeah.
Right? Micah, no worries.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs, zero worries. But there's a bunch of other guys. There's about
40, 50.
about 40, about 40 something, 50 of them that are sweating
Sir.
bullets.
Yep.
Bricks.
Yes.
You can say the word. I can't.
They're sweating.
They're sweating.
Wait, you
And-
can't say ball.
Is it 40, 50?
Is it?
Right? They have
90
100
guys.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, 90, 100.
It's
45 know
90.
they're in.
let's be honest.
40 to 45
you
know they're in.
that it's a handful of guys.
Oh, yeah, because 30 know they're gone.
Right,
30?
right.
Yeah, I mean, come
30
on.
know.
I mean,
All right, okay.
I mean, you kind of know.
But they hope.
You know you're playing. You know when you get into the game, the last preseason game
you're right.
in the fourth quarter, you don't play.
Yeah.
Come on.
When you're a receiver and your jersey number is 96.
That's
Y'all
fine.
are
That's
terrible,
fine.
man.
I mean, some people know.
What is wrong
so-
with y'all?
Quarterback wearing 53 or something like that.
I am one of those guys who.
Sweated it
Did you think you were cut?
No, actually.
Okay.
I thought I wasn't cut. I thought I was still like
And was this first year?
first year.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I was still kind of in the mix of it all. Like, this is going to happen for me. Ended it well at Minnesota and all those good things. And then good old Todd Williams comes to see me.
Oh, it was Todd?
Yeah, it was Todd.
Oh.
It wasn't Bruce May.
Now, what? Because there was a lot of us.
Yeah.
Bruce was over here doing this side. I think
Right.
Bruce had defense.
People don't know who y'all are talking about.
Bruce is the Grim Reaper of football for the Dallas Cowboys.
Bring your playbook.
Bring your playbook.
Grab your iPad.
Todd came and got me and brought me up to Jason Garrett's office. And, but he didn't tell me to bring my playbook.
Okay.
He just said, Coach wants to see you.
Yeah.
Now, after that game, Jerry Jones had said I did some really good things. I had the 82-yard punt return that wasn't supposed to be my punt return
Yeah.
back for a touchdown in
Was it punt
Minnesota.
return?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
wasn't supposed to be.
I was a jammer.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
It bounced to me.
He got bounced around out. He took
It
off.
bounced to me. And I get in the room.
Remember
and,
that just because Jerry says it doesn't make it so.
Exactly.
Damn.
Dang.
Exactly.
Full circle moment, buddy. Full
God, that
circle.
hurt. That one hurt. That one hurt.
What if I told you it was with all due respect?
That still hurt. Those other ones didn't hurt. That one hurt. And
So you read the press clip and Jerry said I did something good.
I heard it from the horse's mouth.
He told
He
you.
bought a
told
car.
me.
He bought a car.
Yeah.
You
Already
did some
had
good
one of those.
things. But
Dummy me.
But he was, he was all in the fourth and long. He was part of that whole, so he had to come. How many?
Hey, listen, we're not gonna keep doing that.
No,
We're
no.
not- we're
Stop
not gonna-
tearing
we're-
him
we're
down.
not gonna-
Listen,
we're
what
not
I'm
gonna-
saying is,
He had
how
to buy
many-
into his own bit.
How many? Yeah, he definitely has to buy into his own bit. It's just Jerry Jones, but he definitely got to buy into his own bit.
We should have made.
Everything
He didn't let him make the team. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, and I'm gonna let you finish, is that how many?
Okay, Kanye.
How many undrafted rookies you think he goes and talks to after the game?
I don't know. I don't know, Clarence. But I felt like the
All
cute.
of them?
He's the GM.
I felt like the cute girl.
You
I
was the cute girl.
felt like the one that was like,
You
he
fell in love
really
with the stripper.
means
You
this.
fell in love with the stripper.
yeah. I fell in love with.
He
the
really
stripper.
means this.
I thought he really was taking me out the club. I thought that this was my last day
Was
swinging that thing on the pole.
Were you a 10-2 or a 2-10?
Y'all
I was
doing
getting. I'm 2 to 10.
You was a 2-10.
I was 2 to maybe 10 to 2. That's a good hour, 10 to 2.
A 10-2 or 2-10.
Yeah, they was.
Finish your story.
I thought I was the one.
Thank you, Aisha.
And so I get called up to Jason Garrett's office, and I sit in a call from Coach, and I should have known by the compliment sandwich that he was giving me.
Yeah.
It was all the highlights.
Yes.
Man, you know.
All right.
It says something about that. You just came in. You didn't have a playbook.
And I know that hate smile. Jason got that smile.
Yeah, that weird looking
We
smile.
call it a hate smile.
And he's telling me all these great things.
Pretends he's a good guy too.
You're always on time.
Thanks, Coach.
That's what I want in my player. You're on time, guy. You're going to be a difference for this football team because you're on time. We're going to go to Super Bowl because you're on time.
I don't mean to laugh so hard, Jesse.
Jesse is never going to make this team.
Michael Irvin was never on time. That's why we lost.
Jesse had to go through therapy after this.
I'm still in therapy.
I'm serious.
You're always on time. You're always prepared.
Yeah, you are.
You practice hard.
Mm-hmm.
You learn multiple positions. Yep. And then he said, the thing that still to this day, I wake up at night in cold sweats is when I hear it.
Yeah.
He says, if I had 53 of you.
Hell yeah.
And I sat up in my seat
You're
and I said, 53 of me, Coach. You got one. Here I am. And he says, but we're going to let you go. I said,
like
wait.
that?
I said, wait, whoa, hold on. Wait.
What about the whole 50?
What about the whole 53 thing? You got one. And he's like, yeah, we're going to let you go. He goes, but, maybe stick around.
Yeah.
Maybe we get you back on the practice squad. Yeah. But we appreciate all that you did for us.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand.
Well, 53 of you.
That was
all 53 of me. And I walked out so dejected and so hurt. I just like, wait, if you wanted 53 of me, why in the hell wouldn't you keep the one of me?
So 53 sentences of glowing words in one sentence, we're going to let you go.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, he set you up.
Hey,
boy.
man, let me tell you something right now.
He set you up.
I've to all the strippers out there,
Barnacles.
Okay.
Who hear the stories about how these men are going to take you out this club, think of Jason Garrett and my story.
Or all the men who the stripper says, I love you, and you're the only one for me.
You're the only one for me as well.
And they fall in love with the stripper, and they go quit their wife and family.
No,
do it.
Come to the strip club.
Remember my story.
Realize that they only liked your money.
Remember my story.
What if you guys just stayed at the house?
Yeah.
What?
You guys are talking about inappropriate things.
And
I don't go to those places.
watch Game of Thrones and just stay at home.
Well, there's a lot of that
stuff
there
on
too
Game
now.
of Thrones.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Oh no, I forgot.
No, but it was.
They did you like the Red Wedding.
I don't know what.
They
That
didn't kill him.
Jason Garrett did you like the Red Wedding. I'm getting ready to get married.
he did.
Jeff, who are our pet cats?
Oh, who are our pet? Yeah, look at that. Okay, hey, Aisha's here, everybody. That was Jesse getting cut. We got about 2 minutes left to
You brought up
broadcast.
Game of Thrones.
People who
Meow,
might
meow.
get cut, might not get cut. Meow. Aisha, give me a cat.
Julius Wood, strong safety out of East Carolina.
Tell him to stop taking terrible angles on 70-yard touchdowns.
First of all, he cut it short there. I didn't like that, but you don't just pay attention to just one play. You know how we do things. Very helpful in run support. Does some things on special teams.
She's doing the Jason Garrett thing right now.
Here we go.
Showing
You're doing
the
the Jason Garrett thing.
Nah,
You're
because
doing the Jason Garrett
No,
thing.
'cause she's keeping him.
How many safeties you keep?
two things are different.
How many safeties you keep?
I
need
think
5.
you're gonna have to keep 5.
You need 5 to get him on.
And you
My
keep
guess would be
5.
4.
You keep 5.
But you got Izzy. who
That's
can
what I
do
think.
both.
But Izzy
Izzy
is a
makes
corner.
it as the
Right,
fifth,
but he
sixth corner.
allows you, if you need him as safety, to play safety.
I didn't like him at safety. I don't know what the idea is that thinking I'm not saying he's not rangy. I just think he does better in close contact situations. Having to cover a lot of ground and having to think is not my favorite thing with him. But Julius Wood, yes, absolutely.
Get your meow.
Yeah, that's my pet cat.
Mine's Deuce Vaughn. Stop keeping
Talk
running backs
about
you don't
it.
need.
Talk about it.
Stop keeping running backs you don't need. What if they made every running back earn their spot? Like Royce Freeman should be competing against somebody because they are similar skill sets.
I'm not going to make a scene about it, but I don't get it.
Deuce Vaughn should make the team.
Deuce Vaughn's going to make the team.
Let's go, Clarence.
Okay.
What you okay?
Nah, I like Buddy Johnson.
Oh, yes.
I'm a
Yes.
Buddy
linebacker.
Johnson, linebacker.
Mhm.
He I think he's a guy who played really well in that last preseason game, and they want to keep linebackers, and he's a guy who can play teams as well.
Clarence is a beat writer. He's not allowed to cheer for people.
Brevin Spanford, tight end.
You think so?
Meow.
He
was good. He was actually good this weekend.
He was. This was definitely his best
He's
game.
the only one that can block. Schoonmaker stays hurt. If Schoonmaker gets hurt, who's going to be your blocker?
That's valid.
Joe, who
But
you got? Pet cat.
I'm just telling you.
CJ Goodwin.
Stays on the pick.
That's not a pet cat.
Run down on kickoff, baby. Shout out to our super chats that joined us today. Formula, I know you. I love you. He said, let's effing go. Party at Jeff's. Will 41 play in 26's absence? We're going to win the Super Bowl. And from Levi, just throwing some support. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much. We are the DLLS Cowboys podcast, and we're not done. Make sure you're following the channel at DLLS _sports because we got all your teams covered, and it's all coming up today. Here's Joe. Joe's back. There's Joe Hoyt for sweet Jesse Holly, for the gorgeous Clarence Hill, and for the wonderful Aisha Morrison. And Joe Hoyt, he's just here. He's just chilling.
He's our guy.
I'm Jeff. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
We all silly like the mayor.